Hey everyone, welcome back to another Hangout at the Grow 4 Show. Today looks like it may just be myself, our good friend Schwoob has some family engagements that he needs to worry about. Cheers, Schwoob. He last week welcomed a new baby boy into his family and has been preoccupied with that, and very well he should be. Congratulations, Schwoob and family. Hope everything is awesome for you guys. Cheers, GMF. Thanks for stopping by. Today is just a regular hangout. If anybody wants to come and join me, please feel free. I would love to have some company. Just putting the link in the chat right now. Give me 1 second. Password is this, and we will. Yeah, so just gonna hang out today, roll up a joint. Maybe someone will jump on and chat with me. Otherwise, I'll talk a little bit about my garden and everything that's going on. I know Schwoob's in week 4 or 5 with his garden. He will give us a nice update next week when he is back, hopefully. But this week we'll just talk a little bit about my garden. I had some shitty experience. I found a little bit of bud rot. Cut the bud off immediately and took it out, called it a day. The next day I came in, found another one, cut the bud out, scoped around, found one more, cut that out, left it. The next day, found another one. I was starting to feel a little nervous and just said, fuck it, I'm cutting everything. So I looked around for any more bud rot, didn't see any more signs of it, and then just that night cut everything down. Actually, the following morning. Everything's hanging and drying right now. Didn't have to throw much away. Bad news is 2 of the strains were really early. One's like 2 weeks early, one's probably a week and a bit. And the other one was finished and good. They've been down and drying for almost 2 weeks now. And they're at the point now where I've been able to trim a little bit. I've even tested some, like the early, can't wait, I'm going to test this because it's dry enough to smoke kind of stuff. So I tested some of that. Very tasty, very tasty. The 2 that I've tasted so far is Liberation OG and the Mac Runts. Both very nice and already smelling phenomenal. The Mac Runts has a real almost fruit punch and spicy flavor and smell to it. Pungent smell in the jar. Ooh, I can't wait for the cure to happen. I honestly don't want to talk too much about what the smells and stuff are going to be until another week from now, but that's what I'm getting from that Mac Runts and that Liberation OG. I'm getting that chemical wet paint, skunky, I don't know, earthy, cushy mixture. We'll see what it turns out to. Again, that was the one that was the most earliest finishing. Causes of bud rot. Yeah, good point, Schwoob. So could be more than one reason, but in general, it's moisture. Too much moisture in my room. I I'm guessing. So when my last grow finished, one of my fans that circulate the air above my canopy broke, and I have a little 4x4, and I've used 2 fans in there before plenty of times, and just said, yes, exactly, botrytis. That's exactly what I got. Yeah. I just said, fuck it, I'll let it go. And, it was my own fault. It was a mistake. I shouldn't have done it. And I got some bud rot. So I've experienced this a few different ways. I'll tell you my experiences, and if anyone else can think of something else, you can type it in the chat, let me know. But I've experienced bud rot a few ways. I've experienced it from not having enough air circulation, not letting the tent or grow environment exhaust the air enough. I've had it from overwatering. I've had that issue before, where you just keep the roots too wet for too long and the inside of the bud molds out. And I've also had it happen where I thought I was maintaining good temperatures and humidity, but my nighttime temperature was dropping a little too much and creating condensation, and that's got me with powdery mildew before and botrytis, I'm sure of it. So those are some things to look out for to try to hopefully keep you from experiencing that. It's a devastating feeling. Look, I was in week 7. I wanted to take these all to 9 weeks, and I just got to finish the 7th week, and it sucked. You work so hard to get to where you are, and you got to pull it down early. So where am I at now? They're all hanging. Yeah, it's the end of this season. Shroob just said in chat that everyone growing outside around him is getting bud rot. And look, when I used to grow outside, that was a thing. Like, you would go out on a daily basis at the end of the season and watch for it. And you really got to monitor your outside temperature and humidity to make sure that you just don't run into that. But inside, I didn't get that. I fucked up. So I'll make sure I remedy, and it won't happen next round. But what am I going to do in between? Clean the shit out of everything. Look, the botrytis has spores that'll get blown around by the fans, and that's another reason why I was like, look, if I don't get this turned off right now, and it's going to get worse. So I just turned all the stuff off, chopped it, did drying everything now. Yesterday I actually started to trim a little bit. I want to try to get ahead of the game. And then I'll start, after the trim is done, I'll start the cure. But I'll get back to what I will do now in my tent. So now it's important for me to clean everything. I'll take all my fans apart, and everything will get a light. I usually just use bleach and water mixture to clean everything, and I'll wipe down the inside of the tent. I'll clean all my pots, and cheers, Lori. I will clean all my trays and drip trays, and all the bars that my trellis net hooks on, and everything. My filter will get washed, and I will reset. In my veg right now, as soon as I noticed that I had to take the tent down, I went into my veg room. Actually, it was the day before that, and I cut clones. Oh, cheers, everyone. It's 4:10. Ding. I'll do a little dab. So I cut clones of everything. I cut 2 clones of everything in my tent, and then kept all the overgrown, what I would call, I guess, mothers at this point. And what I did with those was strip down the legs, cut off all the main growth, cut off any extra branch. I left 4 to 6 branches on each plant And then at the top of each plant, I only left 2 nodes, top of each branch, sorry. So when I'm done, I should have sort of 8 to 12 tops coming off of each of them. And there is 3, 6, 9 plants I believe I have there now. So what I'll do is put them all into 3 gallons and put them into the tent and flower that as my next run, while I wait for those clones to root and become the following run. They're probably a little early, so I might even end up cloning one more time between them. After the cleanup, I'll move them in there. And we'll get started on the next flower. We can talk a little bit about what I'm dealing with right now, and that's the dry and cure. And through the years, I've heard lots of people explain the cure as different things. And over the past 3 or 4 years, I've been really trying to do the best I can to monitor my relative humidity in the environment that the weed is sitting in while it's drying really closely, so I can learn to get that weed into jars or into bags at the right time. Getting it in there too early, so when stuff is a little bit too moist, it's not the end of the world because you can monitor that, but it's a pain in the ass because you got to be there opening it and then dump stuff out and maybe let it dry a little longer. And getting it in too late, I would say, is a worse situation to be in, because bringing smells and moisture and terps back, I've never had a lot of success. You know, I've tried, and I've heard other people say they can dry weed quick and bring the smells back. I've done it luckily with the right strain, but in general, I can't do that over and over with just any pheno, any strain that I'm dealing with. So I feel like getting the weed from the drying and into its sealed container at the right moisture is super important. And then not letting it get too warm is really important. I believe under sort of 70 degrees Fahrenheit is where I've sort of landed on. I try to keep it, I would love to keep it at 60, but if I'm between 60 and 65, I'm pretty happy for temperature. And I know we're on a Canadian show, so let me get the conversion for you really quick. So 15 to 18 degrees Celsius. And then maintain I would like to keep sort of 58 to 62% humidity. Closer to 60 is where I really want to be. 60 and 60 would be the best. That's, I'm sure we've talked about that on a show before. But being a home grower, I don't have all of the equipment that I need to maintain everything the best that I can. And we're teaching and talking to other home growers a lot on here. So I think for me to think like another home grower who's just going to use his flowering tent to dry in, or an extra closet, or the spare bathrooms are great. They have exhaust fans and it's good for maintaining humidity. You can turn the water on and bring humidity back in the room when you need to. I've done that. I'm sure someone else out there does the bathroom. Cheers, everyone. I'm going to hit this dab. I've been waiting. But getting that weed into a sealed jar at the proper humidity is important. from the research I've done, what I've read and or seen on videos or heard people chat about was the weed goes into some sort of a like a chemical process happens with the moisture and being sealed in the jar at the proper temperature that helps with the breaking down of, I'm guessing, whatever maybe nitrogen or nutrient is left in the green left in the plant. Maybe that's usually what I see goes away. Really smoothens the weed out. Definitely helps with the burn of the weed. If it's not cured properly, it's going to burn a little more black. It'll go out a lot on you. Not to be mistaken with the black ash of unflushed weed or the shitty burn of an unflushed weed. Look, they can look similar, uncured or an unflushed weed, but I'll tell you, unflushed weed will be, it won't have the terps. And you may get crackling and stuff like that. I don't usually see that in the improperly cured weed. I just see a little darker ash. Whew, that was a fucking fat dab. Sorry, everyone. So yeah, getting your cure down takes time and practice, and do your best to get it into those parameters, and you should be good. I've experimented a few different ways of, because I hear people talk about how long do I let it hang before I trim it and put it into the jar. So I've heard people talk about the snap of the stick and this, that, and the other, and I think that's really been key for me. And I find the smallest sticks, not the big ones. I think it's important that the small little sticks, as soon as they're cracking, the big ones won't quite crack yet. They're usually bendy, but all of the fan leaves and everything on the outside of those big ones will just crack right off really easily. I've made the mistake of waiting for those bigger ones to get cracky, and usually I can't get the moisture content back. I want to seal it in the jar and have it raised up to like 60%. If that's happening, then I'm stoked. If I seal it into a jar and it stays below 60, 55, 58, I'm usually a little bit annoyed. Like, I wanted it to be a little more moist. Oh, and this is important. A lot of people don't talk about this, and I don't know if it's something that's skipped or something that people are trying to hide or something. I don't know, but I think it's important that when you, whatever your container is that you're curing in. So I learned this because we used to cure in half-pound baggies. Okay, just because they fit in there nice. It was an easy way to weigh up what you were getting. You would know what you were dealing with, and gave us space. And also the half-pound zigzag bags, we trust them fairly well for holding air in or out. And oh, cheers everyone, 420. Good timing, I'm rolling a doobie. I've noticed that when I try curing weed in a jar or a bag that has too much excess air or space in it, I don't get the same cure. That's why I know when I was putting them in the half-pound baggies, we would put them in there and give them a little squish. That's what I found was the trick. What a lot of people don't do is give them a little squish together. You kind of want them to hug one another and create that moisture that it needs to, so it equalizes throughout the bud. Yeah, I think that's something that I missed for a long time. I would just put them in a jar, leave a little space on top, close it. I don't do that anymore. I put them in the jar. I give them a smush down until that jar is not packed tight or anything, but stuck together. I would want it. My goal is to try to pick the whole half-pound chunk out as one chunk out of the bag. You know, I want that, not just moisture content, but the stickiness of the bud to do it. But the moisture content helps do that. Sorry, I'm rolling a joint. Beautiful. This is another test of that Liberation OG. I couldn't figure out the smell that I was getting off of it, and then I left it in the jar overnight, the little tiny couple buds that I trimmed up. And then this morning I opened it and smelled it, and I was like, paint. I smelled chemical, like, I don't know, it doesn't really smell like it as much now, but like a wet paint almost. I don't know, it's yummy. Cheers, Perp. Nice to see you, bud. Thanks for popping in. Cheers, Supreme Grape. Thanks for popping by. So I'm gonna twist this up here, smoke this joint. Might be a bit of an earlier show today. Just me chatting back and forth with myself. So not sure how much content I can come up with, but I'll go as long as I can. All right, so with my grow being at the stage it's at now, kind of just in the waiting game. After I'm done the show tonight, actually, it won't be till after my kid goes to bed tonight, but I will try to finish up one plant today and then just one over the next couple of days. I've got it pretty well maintained that my closet that it's drying in will stay around 66 degrees Fahrenheit and 60 to 61% humidity. So it's almost a curing right there. So I'll leave it there. I'll be able to get it done a little bit over the next couple of days until everything's finished, and then jar everything up. We'll see how things taste in a week or so. I usually find it takes a week to 12 days to be cured up nicely. So next week when we get on here, we'll have some updates from Schwoob on his garden, and I'm sure it's looking phenomenal right now. I haven't seen any pictures in the last few days. Also, by then, my garden will be emptied out, cleaned, hopefully transplanted, and get those plants into the first layer of trellis so I can grow it out and be ready to flip it. This Liberation OG tastes very cushy. It's yummy. Can't wait for it to properly cure and to grow a plant to full maturity. Not sure what else we can go over this week. Probably, I guess I can tell you what strains are going to go in the next run. I just got what were old mothers. So there's two 2 phenos of Primal Punch, my 1 and my 3. My 1 is the like really purple nugs, chunky, nice smoke, a little fruity. My other pheno has much smaller nugs, no purple, really like a pale, like a light green. It's really nice, and that's the one I call my banana pheno. I think it's very banana-y and almost a little gassy. I don't know, it's nice. So I've had a hard time just because it doesn't produce, it's squat and smaller little nugs. I've had a hard, I have a hard time committing to it as part of my grow, but I can't throw it away. So I've been hanging on to the 2 of them, and I think I'll make my mind up pretty soon. Also have a cut of Zelda runts going in there. I tried to flower one out last round and it ended up being a male, so I dumped it. Now I have another seed in here for this round. There will be some more of that honey cream, which I really love. That was a bag seed that I popped and just fell in love with it. I have 1 plant of my Master Kush that I've had for, I think I've had it myself personally for 7 or 8 years. It came from a friend who had it before that. And what else is in there? Cheers, Thunder Dance. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, the watermelon Skittles cross black cherry, which were some freebies I got. Some Ethos Genetics when I bought something from bought something online. I bought the Zelda runts, and those came with it. Zelda runts is Hyrule Genetics, and it is Triforce OG by runts. And I think I also got with that. Oh no, with that I got the Mac runts. Those watermelon Skittles must have came with when I bought the Liberation OG, which is Irie Genetics. A lot of the guys in the neighborhood and Schwoob's growing a bunch of it. It convinced me to buy some. I mean, everyone was talking about Irie, and Jeff is a really good guy. I watch his podcast a ton, the Grow From Your Heart podcast. He also comes to hang out in the neighborhood every once in a while, and seemed like he's got his head on straight when it comes to doing what he's doing. He takes his time and makes a proper strain and then releases it. So I was like, okay, I want to try some. Yeah, so I got the Lemon Jeffrey and the Liberation OG. Lemon Jeffrey, I'll pop some seeds soon. We'll get that going. I wanted something on Liberation OG I got because it was supposed to be something cushy. It's made with Arise and Arise and Kalonji Kush, and I believe Kalonji Kush is also one of Jeff's strains. So I just wanted to try something like that. Got pretty stoked to do it. Oh, there we go. Thunder Dan's growing some Storm Shadow. Nice. Pretty sure my buddy Perp grew some of that. So we'll see how those come out in the next run. Don't think I really have too much else to go over for today, so I think I'm going to call it a show for now. Cheers, 4 Plants. Thanks for stopping by. It's just me today, so it's just a quick little hangout update, say hi, make sure we didn't leave everyone hanging for another week. Last week we obviously Schwoop had a baby, and then I just committed myself to something else for the day. But we'll be back full force next week. Really appreciate everyone stopping by. Come check us out here next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern. You can also check us out usually on The Neighborhood Grows on Mondays. And Discord, Neighborhood, Instagram under Grow for Show or Cause I Love It or Shwooby Doo. Come check us out. Also, if you're not subscribed, this is your first time watching, you found us somewhere, please subscribe, like our videos, comment. There's not a lot of comments. Be nice to talk to people, some feedback. We appreciate it. Just another place for people to hang out.